So we're going to talk a little bit about how to do a great job recruiting Cub Scouts. And so let me ask, let's get a show of the room here. And online, you don't have to raise your hand because this is the romper room. Those of you old enough to remember, I see. But who here is a committee chair? Okay. Who here is a Cub master? All right, cool. And then the rest of y'all are all sorts of different things. So we're going to talk a little bit about new member coordinator. Any of those in here? Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and how to get this, how to do a great job of doing that. So so there are 3 pillars to our membership plan. We should have some sign-up nights in the fall and in the spring. How many of you have already signed up or already determined your date for your fall sign-up night? All right, a couple of them. Yeah. And online, I'll ask you guys to do that. Mike will give you a chance to do that. But you should have a couple of sign-up nights in the fall, one in the spring. The idea is that we have a year-round recruiting plan. Can Scouts join in January? Sure they can. What about the parents that say, or the kid that says, or somebody says, oh, well, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get all the advancement done. That's okay. The Scouts are still going to have a good time and they're still going to get something out of the program, no matter what time of year they join. So plan is flexible. We want to have a plan that meets the needs of the pack. So if we used to have a one school night for scouting, we called it a join night, but that didn't work for half of the pack. Well, we want to make sure that you guys have a plan that works for your pack. And then we want to make sure that you guys communicate. We communicate to you, you're communicating to the parents, the school, and have the whole, everybody making sure they're all on the same page. That makes sense?
Yes.
So far, we haven't talked about a lot of nitty-gritty here. So we also have a pack recruiting guidebook that we're going to be referring to. So this is in your packet that you received. And for those of you that have seen this in years past, few changes, but for the most part, it's the same information. And if you follow the steps in the pack recruitment guidebook, you will have a successful year. I guarantee it. All right. We're not going to ask for questions so far. Talked about a new member coordinator. So a new member coordinator is a fairly new position in scouting. For larger packs, I encourage you to find somebody whose job is only to be the new member coordinator. That is a registered member of the pack committee. It should be somebody who is familiar with, friendly with, visible around the school, that knows the families, especially the incoming families. For a smaller pack, if you've only got 10, 12 kids, that's going to be probably somebody that wears 2 hats. I mean, we all wear, I know I wear 17 hats. But I encourage you guys to have somebody identified whose job is to recruit the scouts. That's their job, is to get with those families and find out who's going to be coming in here. We'll talk a little bit about how to do that. A membership goal to consider is that 25% of your membership should be Lions and Tigers, those new families that are coming in, because as we know, as those families move on in scouting, the bigger you have of Lions and Tigers, those families are going to stop. But a good consistent goal is to have 25% of your membership being Lions and Tigers. You don't want to have is the gaps in for a year where there's no scouts. But if you do, then we work beyond that. We figure that out. So what I encourage you to do is take an inventory of where you're at. So right now, or maybe you've already done this, take an inventory of where you're at in your pack. Who's active? Who's coming back? Is there anybody that you need to have a cheerleader talk to say, hey, you know what, family, are you coming back? And they're saying, no, well, what can we do to make you come back? So have a little bit of that inventory, but then also don't get too fixed on that. You want to make sure that what you're doing now is planning for the future. So let's move on to step one. Believe it or not, we haven't even talked about step one. PAC committee chairs. Those of you online, it might be that. Have you had your annual PAC planning conference yet? Raise your hand. One. I don't know who online is.
Two online.
All right, great. So here's, and this is okay. This is a safe haven in scouting. Who does not know what an annual PAC planning conference is? Okay, so with the ideal year of scouting, one of the key steps is to have a meeting. Usually it's in the summer, sometimes it's in the spring, where you bring your PAC leadership together and you plan your year ahead. What do we want to do? What kind of fun stuff do we want to do? Do we want to go take a trip to Hawaii? Great, but then there's some fundraising that's probably going to have to go into that, so maybe that's not a feasible plan. Do you want to be a PAC that does a lot of low-cost things, fishing, hiking, those kinds of things? That's cool, but the key is you want to try to plan that out. You want to plan that out for a couple of reasons. One is because a PAC that doesn't have a good plan doesn't know what they're going to be doing from year in, year out. But the other reason why it's important from a recruitment standpoint is that a prospective family that sees a PAC that has a plan, knows what they're going to do, knows when they're going to do it, and how they're going to raise the funds to get there, that leaves a very favorable impression to a PAC and to a prospective family. So plan your program, have that annual PAC planning conference. Your professionals, your commissioners, they can help you plan all that. There's resources all over the place to be able to do that. Determine your program cost and set a budget. So if I'm a new family member that is coming in and wants to know what the cost is going to be, and you say, I don't know, that makes it much more difficult to try to recruit those family members. So that's part of the PAC program conference, is to determine what you're going to do, how much is it going to cost, how much fundraising are we expecting, and what the cost is going to be. Plan your fundraising. Popcorn, of course, you're the only one that doesn't sell popcorn. Don't raise your hand. But popcorn is a big thing. But are there supplemental fundraising efforts that your PAC will need to do to raise funds? And then you publish that. You have a calendar then that you can publish, and a budget that you can publish. Don't forget to put your family, some call it leader meetings or family meetings or parent meetings. Make sure that those are in there as well. Those should be done every month. And then you begin to execute the plan. The other thing that I'll mention is the Be a Scout pin. How many of you have updated and checked your Be a Scout pin to make sure that it has the correct, accurate information, and done so, within the last month or so? I encourage you to do that because we see a lot of incorrect or wrong information. Does everyone know what that is?
People that don't.
What's that, sorry?
Can you explain what it is?
Sure.
There are people that don't know.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm a family that wants to join Scouts, right? And so I maybe don't know that my PAC, a lot of schools don't have a PAC. So where do I go to join Scouts? You Google Cub Scouts in my area or something, and what will show up is this beascout.org. And so beascout.org is a way for families to say, I'm interested in Scouts. They'll find PACs and troops and crews in their area, and they can click on it. Oh, okay, this PAC is close by to me. They click on it for information. I'm going to call so-and-so or email so-and-so for more information.